I also saw that you're able, and this is like probably too spicy, but I saw that you're also able to like pick the skin tones for like these different robots too. And somebody was like,
What?
somebody, somebody was like,
Racist.
yeah, somebody was like, it was
I don't
like,
want to be silver. I want to be gold.
it was a person of color. I think it was a black guy, and he was like, I want to pick the black one because not only do I want to have like inclusion, but I also feel weird having a black robot who is doing work in my home. So it was like it was.
What is wrong with this world?
I thought it was the.
Hi guys, it's Anisha from Modern Memoir, and it's Cameron from Granularity, and we are going to run today's episode, our little YouTube episode, a little differently, and we're gonna do like a heads up 7-up style. And we're gonna do little timers on it to kind of break it down. So the first topic of the day is layoffs.
Yeah, I don't know if you want to go first. You want me to go first in talking about it, but
I think my first was it's a very sad news.
There has been a good portion of layoffs, at least both in the AI realm, or maybe it's because of AI, right? There's been a lot of crazy layoffs. I think it was last week or 2 weeks ago where Amazon, UPS, and various other companies had kind of laid off a bunch of people out of nowhere. Maybe not out of nowhere. Hopefully they announced it beforehand. But it felt like it was a kind of out of nowhere thing. Even the company I work for, I won't say, just to keep it a secret, but even the company I work for kind of did a secret or a gradual secret layoff kind of process where maybe here and there so few people kind of get laid off over time. And I think even last week I got word that an entire group got laid off. So times are scary. Times are rough for a lot of people. I know that people are possibly blaming AI for most of this, which I completely agree. AI or the current administration, whichever one, which I completely agree. But also one perspective that I think I heard from the I've Got Questions podcast. Highly recommend anyone else to check that out if they're interested. But she had mentioned a perspective of people aren't necessarily laying off, or companies aren't laying off people necessarily because of AI. Because right now, AI is still in infancy of only being like 2 years old, right? In terms, I think it came out 2 or 3. I think it came out fall or winter of GPT-3 came out fall or winter of 2022. Maybe it started getting popular in the spring or new year of 2023. So I would say like 2.5 years old. But maybe it's not necessarily because of where AI is now, because the return on investment that AI kind of gives you presently is bare minimum. It's not as disruptive as people think, but maybe companies are starting to prepare for what AI could be in the next 3-5 years. And she gave me the perspective of maybe it's the fact that a lot of companies are recognizing how nimble or how fast they need to move when it comes to AI development. So kind of reducing workforce and going back to this like startup speed or startup mindset kind of vibe can really produce AI products in their company, in their team faster than they could in the past, because it removes a lot of the bureaucracy, a lot of the admin stuff. So she was saying that could be why these layoffs are happening. It's not because of what's happening presently, but what's to come in the next, like I said, 3 to 5 years. Anisha, do you have any thoughts on that?
I completely agree because based on what because AI is still very new, like you said, and companies are seeing the use of it and where it can take the company and like move faster. And the layoffs, I think, are happening because they're trying to put money aside to invest in that, because every AI, like we're in my work, they're trying to use one repo, but that repo has a licensing thing and that itself costs. And so it's minor, but it's still the money allocation. Like you take money somewhere and you got to put it there, and companies want to do bigger investments and that stuff like that. And so as an AI enthusiast person, also, like, as much as I love it, I get where the fear also comes from.
Mm.
It's a very sensitive time. I do feel for everyone who had a layoff, and I'm pretty sure everyone who didn't expect it. No one expects a layoff, and it's right before the holiday time, so everybody, like you said, like those people who work on Amazon, everything, like those, it's hot times for holidays for Amazon, everything. So they're
Mm.
what they thought they could do, they can't do anymore, and it's going to be a very the effect of it. It's going to with the government shutdown too. Like there's it's like from taking a step back just as a person, like there's so much movement going on in so many directions, so it's terrifying. So that's a very humanly way I feel about it. And then another thing to put in, okay, so you're going through all this, how do you prepare for um when you're going through all this, you think, okay, so what do I do next to stay ahead of the game?
Mm.
So but that might be a future flashcard topic,
Yeah, yeah,
but
yeah. No, I, and it's crazy. I feel messed up for not thinking about it. But yeah, holiday times are right around the corner. Like, in it feels like there's a whole clusterfuck happening where, like you said, the shutdown, there's the layoffs. I don't know. There's debates on kind of whether tariffs work, whether they don't, all type chips, the kind of funding for chips and what. Like, there's a whole bunch of
all the
stuff.
competition in
Yeah,
that too.
yeah.
It's like
There's
you
a
see
bro.
Pilot and use a bigger like OpenAI, like everybody, you see them competing, but it's like, what about the user, like like the next tier? You don't see anything about like the stock. Like I don't. I guess maybe I'm just hearing only AI stuff, but
Mhm.
like everyone's eyes on AI.
I
AI is
don't.
in the sky.
I don't. I am. I am. I am worried. Like, at what is. I am worried about what is next for a lot of people. We're like, and I was watching something on YouTube recently, and it kind of gave a really another interesting perspective of where we are in this time of AI, where number one, AI is a transformative technology, right? But also there was the Model T car from Henry Ford, which was the first kind of vehicle that was able to be driven, right? And people were like, "Oh my God, what happens to mail carriers who are on horses, right?" And next thing you know, these mail carriers now drive cars too, and the horse kind of goes in the stable and maybe has retirement. I don't know, but same thing goes for the question of um, the what was it? I was thinking about it the other day. Um, uh, Damn, I think the Model T one was the only example I had. There was another example that I had of how it can be useful, or how right now we're in a transformative time, and in every transformative time, there's always this friction of transition, no matter what. And I think right now we are literally in this middle of that friction into whatever kind of transformation we're gonna have in the next few years. The only scary factor is how long this transition lasts. I don't think people really know. I don't think people know if more layoffs are going to come. I don't know. I have friends who also were subject to those layoffs, and they were kind of like, I don't know what to do next. Like, I don't know if I apply somewhere, and it's kind of like a domino effect where they got laid off recently, but then they apply somewhere else, get a job, and then they just get laid off again. Who knows how far this kind of ripple effect goes, and what might happen, what happened next. So yeah.
I have two things to say about that. So with the layoff and everything, I think one of the things is because AI is so big, there's some people getting into it too suddenly too. So we're having a lot of developers that are coming up for
Mm.
it, and everybody's competing. There's a big competition. People who are in the jobs, they are trying to keep up to it, and the people who are out of jobs, they're trying to catch up and learn the newer skills to sell themselves. So there's, as you're getting laid off, there's that unique competition going on as well.
Mm.
And And then I guess my question to you, so that's one topic. Another question, whenever people get like, did your friend get like a compensation, like something to hold them off for a little bit?
Yeah,
And how?
there was a compensation package. Um, I didn't get into details like of how
Okay.
much it was and how long it lasts and stuff like that. From what he told me, he has a decent cushion of savings to hopefully get him through.
Good.
Again, I didn't ask like how long or how much, but he
Oh yeah,
said,
that's personal.
yeah, he said he was confident. Um, but even yet and still, like shit happens, right? You might be like, oh my goodness, like I have this savings and I can write it out. And the next thing you know, something with your car happens. You get into a car accident, God forbid, or maybe like you have to get a new car because it breaks down and that costs money. Who knows how much of a dent that hits into your savings? So yeah, it's a very weird time, and I know that you had mentioned, since you had already given a topic out to start with, you had mentioned Amazon. I think the Amazon, no. You had mentioned the Amazon layoffs or Amazon data centers before we started this conversation in background talk. Um, and
Wait,
that
was that a
kind of,
topic for us?
huh?
Was that a flashcard topic that we just?
No, but it's gonna lead into it though. It's gonna lead.
Okay.
What I'm about to say is gonna lead into it. With everyone, with AI robotics now in the mix, right? Amazon is known for having these rovers in their warehouse to do these like package transformations. So in that case, like I think it's time we go into AI robotics. Can you guys see? Hopefully, maybe. Okay.
Get up on the forehead. Get
Okay.
closer.
There you go.
It's
Okay.
okay.
Now I think now it's time to get into AI robotics and what you think, right? Now that, and again, this even adds to this scary mix of, okay, like you said, layoffs plus competition, it's high, plus kind of not only competition amongst, like in the micro sense of like the individual, but also on the macro level of countries competing with each other when it comes to AI, China versus the US, stuff like that. What now that AI robotics is playing a role in various warehouses, various departments, Walmart, Amazon, so forth and so on, where do you think that leaves a lot of people? Like, do you think that makes them feel uneasy of I just got laid off, robotics are now in the mix, I there's a high chance or difficult chance of me getting a decent job in these warehouses. What do I do next and how should I feel?
So I think I brought this up in the last talk too. AI as an LLM is cool, but the second AI can mess with our senses. So it's kind of like the glasses, right? That was a big hit for Meta.
Yeah, I remember.
Now it's like robots who can like do things for you. There's I don't know what else is coming in general, but I think like this is just the start of it. And there are people who are scared of it, and there are people who are excited about it. Excited are the ones who can probably afford it and then use it because it's going to be expensive, and they won't. But then scared are going to be more like the ones who can't afford it, and then who need the jobs, who need to do this, like just basic house cleaning, right? Housekeepers and everything. A lot of them are going to get fired. I do think it's going to cause a rift between the rich and the poor, like a bigger one.
Yes.
So I think they're really cool. I think they're awesome, but I also I don't know yet. I think like but I also another way to look at it's like it's scary because you're in the middle of transition, and I'm fortunate to be part of the transition. So because I got into this, but there's I think people, just like how we're evolving with technology, people have to evolve. And that's the only way, right? When you're stuck in a position and you don't evolve with it, that's when the fear comes forth. If you evolve with it, then you get comfortable. So, yeah, if you see a robot, you need to look into it, figure out how to use it, and then use it. And then I think that's the only way for progression is if there's the fear of something new, but work like when iPhones came out, right? Like cameras, every year, iPhone has an update. Every year, there's a new. The camera just gets better. They're like, wow, you don't even need a photographer, but photographers still have a job. And then there's those photographers that use iPhones for I don't know, like videos and whatnot. But it's just you need to evolve, but you also need to keep your skills. I think like real photographers know how to use an iPhone and know how to put the settings right and take a real picture that everyday people can't, even though they have access to it. So it's educate yourself, and remember, at the end of the day, AI and all this stuff is a tool.
Yeah. I think that last part is primary. Like AI and robotics, they're not the they're not the primary. They're not the primary.
They can't
Defining.
replace you.
Yeah,
They shouldn't replace you like in the way you think they can.
Yeah. I think there was a concept that someone had said, and again, this might have been in the same I Got Questions podcast. Shout out to them if they ever see this. I'm shouting them out.
I have this podcast.
Yeah. But there was she had mentioned another thing of she had another guest on there. I forgot his name, but the skill that separates humans from or the skill that separates AI and robotics from humans is the ability to judge, like to judge whether something is accurate, to judge whether a robot placed an item in the right place, to judge whether a robot folded the clothes correctly. That's something that is primarily still a human trait. So in this case of robotics, right, I think the ability for trainers to still be needed in determining, like, trainers and supervisors for these AI or robotics in general is still going to be needed, whether that's in the warehouse, and if you think about it, like the idea of having these transportation robots has been here for a while. Like maybe it wasn't necessarily transportative. I don't know if that's even a word. I don't even know if that's a word. But anyways, it wasn't necessarily like used for transportation, but I think of like Roomba, right? Basically, a lot of these robots that are transferring these items from place to place in these Amazon warehouses are essentially just mini Roombas that are able to get packages, I guess, and put them.
I have a question. Mm-hmm. Sorry, I paused you. Like,
no, go ahead.
Sorry. So when you said, why is these robots doing better than Tesla robots? Because those have been around for a while. Like, why did these suddenly catch everyone's eyes?
The X1s, is that what the most recent one? I don't know, and I think it's because they're cheaper. Actually, I think so. I think I saw somewhere that like you can get one, you can pre-order one you can pay a lump sum of like $20K, maybe less. And you can do like a monthly subscription of like $500 or $600. I also saw that you're able, and this is like probably too spicy, but I saw that you're also able to like pick the skin tones for like these different robots too. And somebody was like, somebody was
racist.
Yeah, somebody was like,
I don't want to be silver. I want to be gold.
It was a person of color. I think it was a black guy, and he was like, I want to pick the black one because not only do I want to have like inclusion, but I also feel weird having a black robot who is doing work in my home. So it was like
What is wrong with this world?
I thought it was I'm not gonna lie, I almost had me crying. I thought it was the funniest thing. I was like, that kind of, in my mind, it makes sense. As a black man, it makes sense. And I'm like,
oh, I got a job. Okay, so I kind of saw this on Labubu's the other day. Don't ask why. Random videos.
Okay, I don't know. That was so left field. Go ahead. I'm listening.
This artist buys Labubu's and he on the original, and he does like he's a tattoo artist and he designs it. So what if these what are these robots called again?
The X1s. I think they're called
X1s. Yeah. What if like a startup or whatever who has skills with like starting like tattoo on them?
I see you're getting at. Yeah. You know, I don't know. That's actually a thing. I also saw for all the women out there, I know that you can also have these as a companion. Like they can cuddle you, I heard. So
the girls?
Maybe
reverse that guys too.
Yeah. Maybe if you want that like tatted up robot, I don't know, laying with you in bed or on a couch, so be it.
I get it, Cameron. You want a tied up girl. I get it.
Hey, man, I'm not opposed. That was another thing. I saw, oh, my God. I feel like we're getting off topic. But I know we have, like, we're trying to do 10 minutes each topic. This one was hilarious. I saw that, like, I don't know. I don't think it was X1. It could have been. But they had unveiled a robot that all of a sudden had breasts, and people were like, "Why does it need to have breasts in the first place?" And
We all know where this is going.
yeah.
There's a market to tap.
I was like, that's such a, I like, clearly we, like you said, we can all see where this is going. Does it need to go there? I don't think so. And I'm hoping like nobody gets crazy ideas, but I saw it. And like I said, like the whole AI robotics thing, there is so many places that, and also tying back to our other conversation. I know we have 30 seconds left on this topic,
You're
but
good, you're good.
one
Continue.
more is you had mentioned last conversation about the whole virtual reality thing, and I was kind of a doomer on it of like, I don't really like it. I kind of don't really like the idea of someone being sucked into a world and being stuck there or finding like pleasure in it versus reality. I feel like the same thing could be said for robotics, right? Is like there's this whole, I don't know if it still exists or if it's still a topic, but like this loneliness crisis, right? Where like people don't feel connected to one another that much anymore. I hope that we are able to tackle that issue before robots are able to become like emotional companions. Because then I'm like,
I have
damn.
a comment on that, yeah.
Okay, go ahead.
So like how I was talking about my book club
Yeah,
the last one. So when we finished the book,
yeah.
and I will say after I finished that book, that lonely feeling
Really?
is like that book was I know like the book my book club's done, so sorry you guys can't join anymore. You're
She was
lost.
reading Frankenstein, also a good book.
Oh yeah, for Frankenstein.
Yeah.
Really good book, and every what's that book you can relate to it in different time periods. And in
Yeah.
this one, I guess like it's the creation is actually everyone looks at Frankenstein. That's actually the creation. Frankenstein, Victor is the one who makes Frankenstein. But Victor Frankenstein, he makes this creature. It's this monster. Everyone looking, but this. Where was it going with this? Pretty much, it's like there's a lot of. Oh, I can't even. That's a whole other topic. Is it the creation's fault for making mistake, or is it the creator's fault for making it? Whose
Ooh.
responsibility is it? So that's I don't know,
Damn. Are you
opening the
about to turn
door.
this into like a philosophical conversation?
Oh my god.
Because you know what? That can, I don't know if you ever seen iRobot with Will Smith. Like, I know that sounds also like mad unkish.
Let's save that for next topic. Let's
Okay,
both watch the
okay.
movie and leave it. But I'm saying is there's a lot of loneliness that you could feel in that book, and
Okay.
that book I highly recommend everyone to read. And it's just they're gonna get very lonely with just like how you do with texting right now. Sorry guys.
I feel like that. I feel like you weren't selling the book well. You're like, you're gonna get very lonely reading this book.
No, but like yeah, like watch the movie, then you'll know.
Yeah, okay.
Coming out this Friday.
I heard the movie is gonna be good. Anyways, yes. So that was we're 2 minutes over.
Okay.
Yes. Next topic.
Okay, next topic is AI skills.
Okay.
Okay.
I think this is a hard one. Honestly, because again, going back to the layoffs, going back to the competitiveness, going back to kind of the administration trying to figure out also what to do and how to kind of operate in this realm. When I say administration, I mean government administration, trying to figure out kind of how to operate in this realm when it comes to tariffs and chips and competition and blah, 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 blah. The skills are still being defined. Like, I think we have made it past the proof of concept kind of purgatory we were in, where like people were trying to figure out where and what we can use AI for, where it might be helpful in processes and stuff like that. We spent a while trying to figure that out, and I think we're kind of moving out of that age. At least in 2026, I think things are going to ramp up even more, which could be because, could be why the layoffs happen, right? I mentioned, again, prior conversation that a lot of companies are trying, the theory is that companies are trying to reduce workforce because they want to dive into this startup mentality. So if you're someone who is ready to kind of go brute force and throw things at the wall and figure out what works and stumble and fall a lot to come out on the end successful, you're the kind of person who kind of thrives in this realm. But for a lot of people, like they kind of just want a stable job. They're not looking to really be so move with such speed that I think these companies are asking for. So I say all that to say that maybe that's kind of the reason is they're like, okay, we want to be nimble. We want to remove the bureaucracy that kind of involves where, regulatory administration stuff. And we just kind of want to put out a product as fast as we can, fail as fast as we can, and experiment as much as we can. So I say all that to say that primarily the skills that are still going to be, well, I don't even think primarily. I think people don't really know this actually, is I have monologues. I have monologues within my own head of like talking to myself of what is needed and what's not. Like I think about these things deeply. And with thinking deeply, my voice also got really deep. I noticed that. But yeah.
I can't match that. I can't do it. I'm so sorry. I just got the mic, guys. My first day using it.
But yeah, it was I think about these things deeply where I think people are missing. So people are still asking, like, do we still need to learn how to code? And I think on the grand scale, yes. Like it's the same concept as like if you have a calculator, or if you have a calculator, it's still helpful to know how the calculator came to its output, right? Meaning, it's still beneficial to know that if you press 1 and if you press the plus sign and if you press 1 again, it's gonna equal 2. Like and you hit the entry button, it's going to equal 2. Like knowing the pieces that you need to have to get to that end product is helpful. And those pieces can be different AI packages. Those pieces can be different AI packages, different coding techniques, different statistical knowledge, stuff like that. Same thing can be said. I think a car is a better analogy, right? We all know that like a car, we all know what a car is, just like we all know what AI is. But it's helpful to know that, like, okay, in a car, in order to make it run, you need an engine. In a car, in order to make it run, you also need tires. You need an alternator. You need a radiator, so forth and so on. So knowing what packages, knowing still a minimal level of how to code can be helpful still in this AI age. I say all that to say that there's a caveat to that, where I don't think coding is that important. I said it. And I think now it's communication in writing and typing in basic writing, basic grammar is probably more beneficial than ever. Reason being is now that a lot of these AI agents can do a lot of the work when it comes to coding, it's the most beneficial thing you can do is learn how to write an explanatory and comprehensive prompt. Like learning how to be specific in your asks, in your prompt, learning how to use proper punctuations, and learning how to directly, I don't want to say command, but like learning how to directly guide whatever kind of AI tool you're using to get you to the product that you want. And again, the better your prompt is, the better your output will be. But a prompt is only as good as the person writing it, which is why writing is going to be a primary skill. So I urge everybody out there to really go back into just basic reading, and I shouldn't say basic reading, just reading in general. I feel like when I said basic reading, people are like, oh, kids books. No, I'm talking to adults. I'm saying like go into like reading Frankenstein, join Anisha's book club and learn words and learn words you don't know, right? Look up definitions, stuff like that, so that you can kind of become knowledgeable and just reading and writing in general, I think. On top of that, skill-wise, technical, I think it's still learning stuff like RAG frameworks, retrieval augmented generation, synthetic data generation, learning different AI models and how to connect them or how to access them via APIs. Creating like a basic chatbot is still super relevant. where you just kind of do an API to ChatGPT or to a GPT model, and you, I don't know, just ask it a question or give it a prompt and ask it a question. I will say, this is probably TMI, but one uh, thing that I've been looking into is OpenAI has this concept of like creating your own custom GPTs. I recently created a GPT specific to the biotechnology realm. Like whatever your domain knowledge is, you don't need to necessarily know how to code it. You can literally go to OpenAI. I think in order to do a custom GPT thing, you need like $20 a month, I think it costs. Go to OpenAI, create a basic GPT, load it with a bunch of research papers or descriptions or knowledge that you know into this GPT, and you can create something of your own domain knowledge that maybe not everyone else has. That's one case where it's low code, it's no code, and super easy. Where the only skill again you'll need is just number one writing and communicating, as well as domain knowledge, and you'll be able to kind of come up with an easy AI product. Plus, I think once you create it, you're also able to share it via links or stuff like that. So yeah, I know I said a lot. Anisha, do you have any thoughts?
Okay. Yeah. I was trying to follow him. Like, where am I going to go?
Sorry.
There's things to say here and there. I think I agree, but I also have a little personal thoughts on it too.
Go ahead.
So I think that you I agree that you need to go back to paper and pencil. Like we're going like I think going backwards is a little, and it's hard going backwards right now.
Yeah.
And it's important to go backwards a little bit because everything's moving so fast. But when you're constantly chugging and moving fast with it, how much of it are you actually taking in? So when you're chugging, when you're, oh yeah, this, that, looking this up, that up, when you have to explain what you did, can you explain it? So like you need to, I agree, you need to know the basics, but you also need to understand the basics. And be able to explain the basics. You can't just search up the basics. Yeah, you can ask ChatGPT to write your paper and fix its grammar or little things like that. But when you go back and you do it yourself, like you can't lose that skill.
Yeah.
And then with coding too, like you know the packages. Also make sure you know what those packages do and how to put the packages in or how to code a little bit. Yeah, because personally for me, right, I did the one I did a master's in AI and business analytics, so I've learned about applied AI. I've learned about the people skills. I know what's important, and I learned a little bit of coding. I up front, you can ask me. Yes, I've done Python, I've done R, I've done SQL, I've done HTML, I've done all that stuff. I've done it all, but I did it so quickly, and I did it to complete assignments, and I used all my Claude, ChatGPT, because I'm an AI master. So what the heck? You expect me not to use it? But like when it came down to interviews, they're still gonna ask you a little bit about more than okay, you know this, but how do you Claude this? They're not gonna ask you that. They're gonna ask you, and it's also like the level of expertise you want. And like when you're explaining it in the car model, like the car idea, I was thinking as a historian, right? Like when you with elections going on, New York. But I was gonna say, when you look at politicians and historians, they have somebody who knows. I had the thought put together a second ago, but now I'm like having trouble putting.
I think I know where you're getting at, and you let me know like if I'm
Fix me. Yeah, go ahead. Explain
okay.
it.
So like when leading off the historian piece, I think what you're about to get at is like, are you about to say like they have the background in the why of they have the background in the why in describing what got us in the position we're in, or what got us into like, you're comparing like historians to like someone who's an expert in a particular topic, right? Historians are experts in topics. Machine learning engineers, data scientists are experts in AI or whatever it is.
I have another topic with that though.
Okay. Oh, okay.
But I have another thought with that. So like when I was developing that thought, and like after you said that out loud, and I guess like a mentor told me that you can't do everything. I think I have a bad habit of thinking I want to do coding. I love communication. You can't do everything. So as you're going down this path, you have to understand it, but you also have to understand that, like, do you want to be a data scientist?
Mm,
Do you want to be the person in the middle that does the communication,
mm,
like the business analyst stuff? Do you want to be a leader connecting the different parts of like the enterprise and everything? What role do you want to play?
mm.
Yeah, I was gonna say the historian part, because as a data scientist, like, you, if something breaks down,
Yes.
you don't, what if something breaks down and you can't fix it? You can't, where do you go? But
Yeah.
that's someone who has like a PhD and specialize in it.
Yeah,
You need
yeah.
to know that level. But if you're not on that level,
I think that is a good question because I've even had like those experiences where I think, and this is probably exposing me, but like I will tell you right now, I am half the time I have no idea what I'm doing. Like maybe like
me too.
yeah, maybe like 60% of the time. And again, maybe it's because AI is still so new, right? No one really knows how to kind of square it, but yeah, half the time I have no idea what I'm doing. I'm definitely stepping into the unknown every week. But yet and still, people are looking at me as this like subject matter expert. And I'm like, yeah, I like when they message me on Teams or Slack or whatever. I'm like, I read a message and that's maybe a technical question, and then I'm like, yeah, I know. Give me a second to kind of come back to you. And then
Why?
all I'm doing is, yeah, that's exactly what I'm
I
doing.
can't for this. How do I say it?
That's exactly what I'm doing. I'm like, let me go to Copilot or Claude or ChatGPT real quick, and I'll be like, how do I answer this question legitimately? Like, so yeah, I get it. It's hard to kind of decipher number one what kind of, and I think we're still on the AI skills piece, and this is gonna tie onto it. And it's crazy you said this. Oh man, okay. I know we decided 10 minutes each topic, but now you're putting me
Just
into a.
continue.
Okay. You had just mentioned like how or what how do you choose whether to be like the business analyst or the data scientist, the machine learning engineer, the leader, blah 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 blah. And in the I've Got Questions podcast, they had also mentioned like in this new AI age, don't focus on titles anymore. And I completely agree. Like titles can give you an ego boost. Titles can definitely give you like a sense of importance. But the most valuable thing now is skills. Like you said, do you know what you're talking about enough to where not only can you build it, but if someone comes to you, can you educate them on it, of how you did it?
I'm mixed on that answer of yours.
Okay. And so she was saying how skills will be the most important thing because despite someone may having or being despite someone being disgustingly educated in like marketing, maybe if they have AI skills or if they have AI knowledge of some kind, they may not always have to just sit in marketing. They could definitely make the transition to finance because they have the AI skills, and maybe they don't know a whole bunch about finance, but they know enough about maybe a marketing domain or about the marketing domain to where they could use AI in finance to say, well, maybe based off of we can develop an AI model that's able to determine where we should put our funding to per marketing campaign. So like that's a mix between marketing finance and using AI skills, and not someone just staying in that like marketing strategist role, but instead like kind of in this role of what's the word, like being able to kind of maneuver in different roles and in different places to kind of derive like, oh, okay, let's use these AI creative skills and put two different topics. I think that's like, I forgot, maybe it was like Albert Einstein, of like taking two distinctly different topics and combining them to make a whole new kind of concept is damn near like the definition of genius. When people are like, oh, these topics don't combine at all, but somehow you figure out a way to combine them to make them useful. Maybe that's where AI can sit in combining two different topics that you would have never thought even came together in the first place. So, Yeah. Anyways, you're gonna say the
I
people.
was gonna say, I agree with you, but that's also putting a lot of pressure on a person.
Yes.
And that is the problem with it. When you have so much pressure, you might freeze and you're gonna get imposter syndrome. So
Yeah.
you need I think when you're exposed to so much, you might lose direction.
Mm,
So if you're that type of person who's good with thinking that way and everything, then I say yes. And
mm,
I think those are like DevOps, right?
mm.
They're the ones who can do everything, but not everyone can.
Yeah.
So I would say if you can, yes, but if you can't, focus on what you can and be good at it.
Yes. Yeah. 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 I agree. And maybe
Yeah.
maybe you are right. Like, um,
That's why I said titles, because what titles do, like some people need the titles, right? There's the startup people who can do everything, but then there's like I don't want to do a startup. I just want to focus
right.
on my role, everyday thing, and I want to be good at it, and I want to see how AI is in this role, and I want to get better at it. So those two people have two different mindsets. One's very exhausting, that is like full commitment. The other one's like, you know what, this is my job. I'm gonna separate it. Everyone like there's none is better than the other, but I want to point that out. But so that's where I'm coming from, because what titles do, it kind of locks you into a certain role, and you want to be the best at it and see how that role's evolving and focus on that. So that's good for your mental health, though, because your mental health is probably like my mental health half the time. Like I have so much imposter syndrome, it's insane. But like that's just
Okay.
also what I signed up for.
So let me ask you a question. Do you so in this time where because again, this is something that I think about a lot. Like
Mhm.
I at times I feel bad because I think I can be the and I'm realizing this about myself actually if we're talking
Mhm.
about like mental health and mentality and stuff like that.
Yeah.
um I can be very when people come to me and they'll be like, well, how do I learn, what do I do, like how can I become yeah, how can I become better at AI, where do I need to start, what do stuff like that. And my only like I don't think I have any, it feels like I don't have any helpful advice because I'm only going to tell them what I did, which what I did may not be the most mentally healthy thing, which is just like you dive in, you become obsessive, you may not know it all, but you spend the late nights and you spend the weekends and you spend the every kind of day educating yourself on this thing day in, day out. And you kind of have this internal agency, this internal crave to be okay with maybe I'll tell you right now, I am not like a clubby person. I will rather
You
spend
don't get lit?
barely.
Yeah,
I
we can hang out.
at this point I am unk now for sure. Like I don't I'm unk, honestly. Like I would much rather and my mom laughed at me.
An uncle would never call themselves unk. You're not unk,
All right,
so
okay, okay.
continue.
I'm
You're
big bro.
cool.
I'm
You're
something
cool
like
unk.
that.
Fine, I'll give you
I'm
that.
like OG or big bro, something like that along those lines. Okay, but I saw like my mom laughed at me because I told her like I would much rather spend my Saturday nights coding an AI model or coding like some agentic AI application versus going to what like Club Prana, I think is the popular one in Tampa.
Oh, I'm
Club.
not that level.
Okay. Or
Okay.
go to like a club or like a lounge till 2 a.m. I would much rather code till 2 a.m. And that sounds, I know it sounds lame for everyone out there, but yeah, like I would just much rather do that. But a lot of people are not like that. And a lot of people are not me. Some people need that balance, right? Of like, not only do I want to learn and dive into it, but I also want to have fun and I want to kind of relax. So that's why like I feel bad. I'm like, well, just you have to just learn. Like you have to spend the time and dedication to just learning that craft when it comes to AI. And a lot of people are like, well, where do I start? And I'd be like, go to YouTube. Like that's how I did it. But again, a lot of people don't.
What drove you to do it?
What was that?
What was the driving factor that got you into AI?
That's a deep question actually, because I feel like
I
so
have an answer for like if you don't have one, I have one. Like what drove you can drive a person to what they do. But
yeah. I
continue.
mean, mine is personal. Like I think from
Hmm.
um My mother is a big sci-fi fan. Both my mom and my dad are big sci-fi people. So
Yeah.
like I loved the movie I Robot. Shout out to Will Smith. Um, I love the Ex Machina movies, or that came out like years ago. I think it was Ex Machina, the manga and the movie. And then there was
Mhm.
that and like RoboCop, like or Eagle Eye with Shia LaBeouf. Like I like the whole idea of robotics and AI, and so I was the type to even have like there was like the remote control Legos that you can build. Like you can build things
You
out of
had that?
Legos that you were able to control remotely, like cars or something.
Okay.
And I was that kid that would rather spend like hours building Legos till whatever time in the night. Um, and then we fast forward, we're like, this I feel like I don't believe in coincidences. Like it's definitely something, at least like on a universal cosmic level. Um, I feel like this is kind of a lead up to where when I was younger, I was always into robotics and AI. Um, I didn't really know what I wanted to do when I got to university. An advisor was like, just go into computer science and you like statistics a lot, you're good at statistics, do a concentration in data science and call it a day. And I was like, all right, fuck it. And then kind of spiraling into fast forwarding where like I was in the boom of when GPT-3 first came out, and I was already in the data science and engineering space when GPT-3 first came out, and that kind of seeing that boom and like trying it out for myself, then was like, oh, we have finally made AI real. So then like it felt like a fantasy became a reality, and that kind of like made me dive into a bunch of research papers, a bunch of YouTube videos, following kind of OpenAI, Claude, whatever other smaller ones that I think were there. Claude, OpenAI, Gemini. There was a bunch of smaller other models that were being created in companies. Can't remember them all, but just following a bunch of them and seeing kind of what they developed, trying tools when they first came out. Like it just, in a summary, it felt like a fantasy became real, and in this realm, I still feel like a child, where I'm like, oh, like that's cool. Let me like touch it, or like that's cool, let me break it, or that's cool, let me explore it. So yeah, that's a long answer for that question, but yeah.
Well, that's exactly the answer I was looking for because um what is it? When I met a friend when I went to New York and he's into startup and I was like, so how did you get into what did you do? Because he did a science transition and he made similar glasses to Meta and he has his own stuff going on, but he made that. That was his and that was his passion project. It was his it wasn't I want to get into AI. It's like, oh, I wanna make this. I think his inspiration was like he like I can't remember his whole story. He's like, "Oh, I really like Iron Man. I liked Halo, and like he liked to he thought it was so cool with the glasses and being able to vision and like make decisions based off of that. So um, he followed his passion. He figured it out, and that's something what you did too, right? You followed your passion, and that's how he ended up in AI too.
Yeah,
So
I think I have a different view on passions though. Like someone had said something to me. It was a speaker at my company years ago,
mhm.
and she was like, uh, passions are linear, interests are passions are linear, but your interests are wide. Like
Yeah.
your passion can be one thing, right? Maybe, but you can have one passion, but you can have multiple interests. And so I think I have a deep passion for just learning and curiosity, which then like spans my interest to be into AI, or spans my interest into being, what's another thing that like I'm always my interest into, I'm a big mixed martial arts fan. So anything one championship or MMA, I'm always like going to, and I have an interest in it. I don't necessarily have a passion for it, but I have an interest for it.
But
So
put
there,
it this way, like the running app you made, right? The run thing that you told me about, you run
yeah,
and you thought, hey, okay, I run. And you, I don't know what the thought was, but because you cared about running, you applied your, you went and you could have gone into baking or whatever. You
yeah.
chose running because that's your interest and you use your passion to go towards your,
Exactly, exactly. That's his. And plus, it's funny you say like his. he likes Iron Man, and what was it? It was like Iron Man and something else.
Iron Man, Halo, like, bro, his third thing. He gave me a
It's
whole pep talk.
crazy
He
because
wants me
like
to get scared up.
those were like Halo. I played a lot when I was younger, and and I'm wondering like there's like a correlation to be like if you played Halo when you were in middle school or elementary school, you're gonna go into AI. I wonder if there's like a correlation behind that, or like Iron Man is my favorite probably Marvel
That's why
character
there's
as
a lot more
well.
guys in it than girls. I don't know how I ended up here, but like maybe that's I
Iron
don't
Man
play
and
Halo.
Iron Man and Doctor Strange, I think, were my favorite Marvel characters. Not because like they had powers. Well, Doctor Strange has powers, but they're also very, very intelligent. And I believe like just intelligence as a whole is a superpower in of itself. Plus,
Doctor
Rob,
Doom, he's coming. I
yeah.
love
Oh
Downey Jr.
yes,
I'm such
yes.
a fan. He's my
Dude,
man.
isn't I saw somewhere that like Robert Downey Jr. was gonna play Doctor Doom in but there was that's like a cross in universes, isn't it? Like because Doctor Doom is DC, I believe, and
He's not DC. Is he? Dude, this
uh
is sad. I love Marvel, but no,
oh no, you're
he's
right.
Marvel.
Fantastic Four is Marvel, right?
Yeah.
Okay, I don't know. I'm not well versed. I
Oh,
can't remember. I'm sorry. Did I just disappoint everybody with
no.
that? I'm sorry. I'm sorry. But I do love Iron Man
Robert
though. I don't know if that
Downey.
helps. I do love Iron Man. And I did do the Doctor Doom ride in Universal. I don't know if that helps either. But yeah. Okay, just checking. Anyways, I know we spent a long time on this topic. One topic that I know that you wanted to come across was data centers.
Yeah. I see
There
it.
we go.
It worked.
So I have my view on data centers as well, and kind of what exactly they should we pay attention to them. I know I've heard like, oh, like they take up a whole lot of water, and people are like, I don't like them because also Elon Musk is involved. What is your take? What do you think about data centers so far?
I think after watching a video on it, you it's important to present all the positive and negative around AI. So I think
Okay.
that's something as much as you're passionate, you need to know everything around it. And I understand the negativity about data centers after watching a video that these data centers are coming into these areas and the noise it produces, the amount of energy and everything it
Okay.
consumes, the effect it's going to have on real estate and everything, hearing all that stuff. I became aware of it, and I feel like it's like I know just like everything has problems and everything cool has problems, not gonna lie, it sucks, but like that is a problem, and I feel like there needs to be a solution. I don't know what the solution is.
I had there's a quote by a very controversial author. I think is he's like um, a conservative economist, and he was like uh, named Thomas Sowell. A lot of people have their points on him, but he does like have pretty good economic books. Um,
Hmm.
don't focus on his racial views, but if you focus on his economical views, he's a pretty good read. But he kind of has this quote as like, "There's no solutions, only trade-offs." Like so, whatever kind of choice that you make, whatever you think is the solution, there's always something, there's always a pro and con to it. Same thing with
Yeah.
like, there's no such thing as a free lunch, which is what like a manager when I was younger used to tell me, like, no matter what choice you make, something is always going to get the backlash of it. But I've heard a lot of these data centers, like for example, I think there's one in Arizona, I think it is, where people were worried about the water conservation piece because I believe these data centers are just the servers itself require like some
The cooling.
gallons, yeah, some gallons of water, but it's not like a small amount. It's like if you think of a data center and how big it is or how many miles it might be, I'm sure it requires tons of gallons versus
Yeah.
just like a minimal amount. So in Arizona, like they get a lot of droughts. So I think people were saying like Elon Musk had put like a XAI data center out there, and there was debates and criticism and whatnot. So I don't know. I've heard. Okay, three things, right? There's data centers that can be on land in the country in various places. That's solution one, right? Trade off is water conservation, noise pollution, if you want to call it that, and maybe like whatever other emissions it might uh, exude. Then there's the other solution of like putting, I think China was like putting data centers in the ocean could be something. But then these data centers heat up, right? And that kind of constitutes to the heating of the oceans as well, or contributes to the heating of the oceans as well. That's the trade-off in that. Then there's another one of putting data centers in space, and I think Jeff Bezos says something like this. But that adds to the various other satellite in orbit that are polluting our atmosphere, or polluting. I don't know if that's the word, but like there's a bunch of satellites that are not in use, and we're just adding more. So the trade-off is there's also more clutter in that atmosphere, and you know who's going to clean it up. So, like you said, like there is pros and cons to each solution. I think the point that maybe needs to be made now is which one has the least amount of impact. Personally, I think the one just putting a data center in space probably has the least amount.
I agree.
I think it was Jeff Bezos who might have gave that suggestion. But putting a data center in space, I don't know when people plan to go to Mars anytime. I have no clue. But putting a data center in space might be the best solution. It might be at least the easiest too, instead of contributing to climate change and ocean temperature change and stuff like that. I feel like the more that we ignore climate change these days and not look at the cons of what we're doing or what we're placing, the more we're going to see these like serious climate anomalies. Like I think in Jamaica, right, there was that recent hurricane that was the strongest, I think, of the year, Category 5, and like demolished the entire country. But they were like, that's an anomaly. Like they haven't seen stuff like that in years or months. I think they said years actually. But that could be like an example of how warmer waters, more humidity equals more hurricanes that are stronger and more active and in demolishing, you know, islands or countries or whatever it may be. So yeah, I don't know if you had any take on it, but yeah.
No, I I agree with you. That's like I leave it. I think that's just a topic that like people are worried about. So I think it's also it's easy to come off
Yeah.
ignorant. So I just want to say it's not. It's just a like you said. It's their trade offs, and it's unfortunate the trade offs, but that's just progression, and you just gotta choose the best one. I agree
Well,
with you.
okay. So that you said
I
a
said,
yeah, you just said
but I said,
a debate. You just said a debatable word, and that is progression, right? Earlier we talked about AI skills, right? Is it safe to say that people should, even though we're going through this whole AI time, we're going through this whole transition
yeah.
of job loss, layoffs, stuff like that, should people kind of, even though they're going through this, should they just kind of respect the progression, if you want to call it progression, because that's a positive word, right? Or is it progression, or is it, what's the antonym for progression? Is it progression, or is it kind of not caring about the individuals that may face the backlash? Is the trade-off kind of just moving forward despite what the backlash might be?
I think that you can't stop progression. Whatever it is, you can't stop it. So now, if you choose to not educate yourself, experiment, get some interest in, or see how your own industry is moving, that's you being ignorant and that's you being stubborn. So it's a very strong way of saying it, but it's true, right? Like for me, I just keep thinking of like how we have so much technology right now.
Yeah.
Like a decade ago, when I was in like iPhones were not touchscreen. Now they are touchscreen. There are buttons. And before that, we didn't have phones. And like we are this new generation that has this.
Yeah.
And when you go to like Apple, you see all these people like learning how to use iPhones, like the elderly,
Yeah.
because they didn't. Sorry, no offense, elderly, but like they didn't fall for it. And now it's like, oh, everything's not. It's so cool, and now I want to learn it. Well, that was a stubborn choice,
Yeah.
and it's gonna catch up to. There's no way. So it's if you want to, um, do you want to just continue and go with the flow right now, even though it's fast, or do you want to play catch up later? It's individual's choice, and I can't speak
One
for anybody.
one last point on that, and I think
Oh,
it's funny you
stop.
say
That's so mean. I was honest.
honesty is the best policy. You'll be all right. One point that I want to make, because you had just described like how like phones never used to be touchscreen, right? That's completely new concept, and how I don't think people
My
always,
sidekick.
yeah. Oh my,
I had that
oh my
time.
God, I had a razor actually.
Oh, the razor time.
Yeah,
Yep.
I but it's funny. People, I feel like people our age aren't becoming aware of how many transitions we've lived through. Like, for example, mid 90s, late 90s, I still remember when payphones, pagers, phone books, fax machines, IM messaging, and AOL, and Dreamcasts, and Nintendo 64s, and Game Boys,
Tears.
what? Yeah, still existed,
Sorry.
right? Like I remember all those things, right? I remember
We're
my
fine.
grandmother had a my grandmother had a pager. We had a home phone. My dad had
I
a.
have my number 407-265-1844.
You
That was
still remember your home phone number? That's actually wild. My dad had a Palm Pilot, which was like kind of like a BlackBerry kind of thing that had like the stylus or whatever. He had one, and then he had. There's just so many things where like
I have a whole other topic for that. Like I'm trying. We're like
that's a
prolonging it.
whole nother time. I remember when MySpace was a thing and how you can code your own layouts on MySpace. I remember when Tumblr was a thing and you can code your own layouts on Tumblr. Like, and now we have this. I remember when the iPhone first came out and like how thick it was.
I have my first
My
phone.
my dad had an iPhone, and I remember like it was so thick. My first phone was the Razor. Yeah, and I say all that to say that like, imagine we started off with that, we lived through that time, and now we're at this AI. Not even its peak, actually. I don't think this is AI peak.
Not the
Like
peak.
this is like again, its infancy. We are going to be able to live through a time where we know the manual entry or how to manually input text messages into a sidekick versus now we just like speak to an iPhone and we tell it what to say and it kind of is able to transcribe. Like hands free. We now have glasses that can describe your surroundings. What the hell? Is nobody like geeking out about this stuff? Maybe I'm tweaking out. I don't know. But I'm just saying, like, I think that's wild to me. And maybe like that's where like the childlike kind of point of view comes
No,
in.
it is
But
crazy.
yeah, just
And I'm
things.
glad I lived through it. I'm glad that no offense, younger generation, but like I'm glad I wasn't born into it. I'm glad I lived through the progression because it was cool to see it.
Yeah,
It happened during our time. Very quickly.
I agree. I didn't have. I think oh my god, the first console I ever had, gaming console, was a PlayStation 1. Like, I remember when PlayStation had its first version.
Was that the
How
64? That was six.
No, that was Nintendo. That was
Oh,
Nintendo.
no,
That was Nintendo.
PlayStation. Oh, I didn't have PlayStation. Okay.
Yeah, I had a PlayStation 1 and I remember I just remember it was gray. I think it only came in gray. Either it came in gray or white. Yeah. Anyways, I remember a lot. That it's just crazy to think like now. Again, this is why I always call myself Unk because now like when I have kids or when I see kids, they'll be like, I'm just gonna ask AI, and I'll be like, AI? Don't you mean Google? And they're like, no, old man, it's AI now, ChatGPT. So Google is even obsolete now. What the hell is happening?
I know.
It,
Wait, did you have the game? It was like a SpongeBob game where you played with the nose and like you
I
plugged the
did
TV.
actually. I did. Oh my god! But that what
That
console?
was so
That
fun.
wasn't on PlayStation. That wasn't on Nintendo either, was
That
it?
was his
It
own
was like
little
it was its
thing.
own thing. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, I did actually have that.
Yeah.
Fuck. Yeah. Like I said, that's a whole nother conversation, and maybe
Yeah.
it should be a conversation next
We
time.
should we should open that up for another topic. That'd be fun.
Yeah, because I could go on and on and on. But we do have the wild cards, and I
Okay. Do I
think
go first? Or do you go
yes.
first? Okay. So this one is a prediction of how you think AI is gonna like. What can you if what would you do to change it if you as an AI enthusiast, like as a person who's applying it, and how do you think it's gonna affect it right now? Like what is so just in general, it's coming up.
Black Friday. Ooh.
Yeah.
Um,
Shopping
I.
time.
What was that?
Shopping time.
Yeah, that's actually a good. It is November, isn't it? Wow. I think I've only been to Black Friday like once in my life, and I absolutely hated it.
Oh.
Yeah, I hate the. I
You didn't run to Target?
no, I hate crowds. I hate trying. Maybe honestly, at times I do go there just to people watch or just be part of like the energy.
Yeah.
Like
It's more of
yeah, yeah. I just go there to
burn
people
those
watch.
calories from Thanksgiving.
Yeah, I go there to people watch, see everyone else like. Oh, did your power go?
My
out,
my
or is
my
it-
my my, my
Oh,
light
okay, okay,
my
okay.
thing just
I
died
was
on
like,
me.
oh man, I was like, please. That
Over
was
the
scary as hell. But maybe this is like kind of a spooky kind of. I kind of like
Can I
this.
like turn my
Actually,
laptop light on? Okay. Oh, okay, this works.
okay, cool. But I had only been at Black Friday once, or maybe a few times. Only for also I used to work at Target, so seeing
Oh,
like all that and having to deal with all that kind of gives me PTSD now. So I
I
just
get
hate
it.
all. Yeah, so I'd much rather not even do it. But anyways, back to the topic. Um, so personally, for me, as someone who despises being in the crowds and in the mix and the hustle and bustle of like trying to immediately get a product before anyone else gets it and stuff like that. AI can really help me in just like saying like, hey, Black Friday is approaching in the first place. Do you want me agentically, maybe a message on my phone, maybe like, I don't know, ChatGPT has an app now, right, on your iPhone or whatever kind of device you have, where it can give you a heads up of like AI is approaching. Do you want me to put this particular product for your mom on layaway real quick or reserve it for you real quick? That could be extremely helpful where I'm like, yes, please do, because Christmas is coming up. I still want the deal, right?
Mm-hmm.
Could you like reserve it? Could you tell whatever store like put it on layaway, whatever, so forth and so on? Like that could be very helpful for me. And maybe that's just again me speaking from someone who could care less about the whole intensity of it. Just having an AI model remind me, send me notifications of this is what's happening, this is what the sale might be, a projection of what the price point might even come down to, right? Of like, hey, it's $50 now, but during Black Friday it might be between 20 and 30. Do you want me to reserve it for you? Yes, please. So things like that can be super helpful on Black Friday for people who could care less about going. Another thing is not just maybe for businesses, thinking from like a operational standpoint or like a forecasting prediction standpoint, predicting, and maybe there's not even like an AI thing. Maybe this is like more of like a machine learning thing, but predicting which products on Black Friday are projected to sell the highest. Like based off of sentiment analysis, based off of current buying trends, based off of consumer indexes, pricing, da 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 da. Which products do we have on shelves could predict what's going to have the highest popularity, and then kind of just promote more of that, right? Because sometimes, like on Black Friday, maybe they do it on purpose. I'm not sure. Did we do it on purpose? I wouldn't be surprised if certain companies do it, but they assume how many items or how many the amount of they assume how much they'll need of a certain product, and they order that. They place that order off of a forecast. But the forecast is not always accurate, right? Forecasts can be very inaccurate just based off of maybe they don't track sentiment; they only track historic pricing points. Having an AI model that's able to not only gather the price points historically, but also track sentiment to then say, okay, this is going to be your highest selling product, or these three things are going to be your highest selling product. You will need like 2,000 units of this because there's going to be people all over wanting to gather as much as they can. People are going to fight over it. People are going to bite over it. People are going to punch over it. Get as many of this product as you can to protect your business from being what's the word, like looted or whatever.
Yeah.
That could be something helpful. So yeah, that's my take on Black Friday. I don't know if you had any ideas on it or any perspectives, but yeah.
I'm thinking. I think malls are affected with everything going online shopping. So that's something. Cyber Monday is going huge, bigger than Black Friday. I think with AI coming to play, I agree with the first thing you said, but then I also, if everyone starts doing it, who's the winner? So that's putting bidding. So I'm kind of curious to see how that plays out. Saw then the Labubu video too, because that guy would put bids on all the Labubus and he'd get them all. I don't know why I watched a Labubu. I don't own a Labubu, guys. I'm not a Labubu fandom, but like that's how that guy got all those expensive Labubus.
Yes, I never. Somebody had made, and it's crazy. I'm also dating myself when I say this,
You
but
have a
I under.
Labubu?
No, okay, no, hold on, wait, calm down, wait, no, no, I'm not
Oh,
going that far. Hold on,
secrets out.
hold on. But,
Wait, yes or no? It's a yes or no question.
hold on, hold on, hold on, wait, no, hold on, let me finish. Hold on. I am old enough to remember Beanie Babies, and
That's a different topic. We're on Labubu.
but somebody was saying like Beanie Baby or Labubus are the new Beanie Babies, where like people used to collect Beanie Babies, sell them, blah 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 blah, and Beanie Babies were a thing for years. It's just that Labubus did not have the same hype as Beanie Babies, and the resale value tanked. So and I never understood the hype behind Labubus, but if someone could, if a model, machine learning model, AI model could predict
Still
the
waiting on you to say yes or no. Wait, do you have a Labubu?
I have never owned, honest truth, hand on the heart, never owned a Labubu since they came out. I've never watched an episode of Game of Thrones. So I do not succumb to the hype. I don't succumb to the hype. I'm sorry.
And you don't know Marvel too?
I don't succumb to the hype.
Disappointed.
I don't know what to tell you. I do not succumb to the hype. I can't do it.
That's a whole
So, but yeah.
different next time, but continue.
But anyways, yes, so that was my point of view. Now, for you, both of us have pets. My dog's name is Nico. What's your cat's name?
Robin.
Robin. How could you see yourself incorporating AI into Robin's pet care? Can you see it?
Oh, pet care. I see it. Okay.
Okay.
I think it's already there, but there's automatic feeders. There's automatic litter stuff. Then there are toys out there that kind of move on its own. Um, what else? I don't think we're at the point where we could put little caps on the cats to see what they're thinking. We're not there yet, but maybe they'll come around. Right? So that's a technology I know. Everyone wants to know what their pet's thinking.
Yeah, actually do.
So there might be creepy things of, I don't know, where there's neural chips too. So I don't know where that's gonna go with it. So will that touch animals? Because we want to know monkeys. We're always trying to communicate with them. So not personal pets, but like we don't know the level. And I know there's the whole humane, but at the same time, like I don't know the rules. I don't know how far people take it because we don't know how it's going to affect veterinary medicine either. So
Yeah.
there's a lot there that like it's a tapped but untapped market, and it needs a lot of creativity. And but in terms of my pet Robin directly right now. I think
Yeah.
Robin's chilling. He's as oblivious, and I'm gonna let him stay oblivious because this guy.
But okay, but would you want to know what your cat's thinking though?
Hell yeah, I want to know what my cat's thinking half the time when when he runs around, when he wakes me at 5 in the
Oh man, oh the
morning.
3 a.m. zoomies, I guess. Is that
Oh
what
my
you're
god,
referring?
that's too
Yeah,
much. I stayed up late last night. I slept
yeah.
till like the one. Just that's for me. That's late, guys. That's not late for Cameron. For me, 1 a.m. is
Okay.
late. I wake up at 5 in general for like I work out in the mornings, but everyone's different. But like I stay up late and I'm like I'm up because my cat's up, and
Yeah.
so and then I go to the couch and I sleep on the couch because I need to walk past his food bowl. But it's just like, why are you waking me up at this time in the morning?
You know, I think that is a valid question. Like, why? I used to have a cat. Shout out to Smokey, R.I.P. But I used to have a cat, and you know he used to have those zoomies as well. But like, there's that whole concept of like, there's this thought of like maybe they have those 3 a.m. zoomies because um, animals can see things that we can't. Whether you're like in that spiritual, supernatural kind of
My
thing.
light just went out. You don't say stuff like that.
Oh yeah, that's true. I forgot my bad.
God damn it.
But maybe like that is a thing. Like maybe those zoomies kind of happen because there's concepts or things that they can see that we can't. I don't know. Just a thought. And maybe you can ask the question like why, and your cat will give you like this deep philosophical spiritual answer of like I see things you can't. You can't
Imagine
comprehend.
weirder though. You can't control where your pet's going. So your cat, our pets have seen a lot of things or our everyday life that I don't want my cat to know that they see. I don't control that. They just can't.
I my dog Nico, I don't think he would. He stays out the mix just like me usually. He's upstairs in my office on his bed sleeping, but he between him flatulating a lot, I swear to God, like almost every day, daily. Sometimes I walk into my office and it's has this ungodly smell. And I yeah, and I honestly I wouldn't mind asking the question like, can you please do it like in the hallway? Like I can't like, can you just for once get up and just go out there, please? Because my office will be like especially like during the summer when it was like hot and like maybe I don't turn on like you know what I'm saying like maybe like I didn't turn on the AC or something and air's not circulating and next thing you know like I'm in this hot room with this smelly dog and I'm like now I gotta like open the window because I do like fresh air so like it's just
I've been
yeah
through worse with dogs. I'm gonna give you my bad story. It has nothing to do with
okay
this conversation. I've made my career choice, career venture. Everybody is I have been through the depths of healthcare. I was a farm tech. I was a CNA. This is a CNA story. I was overnight nurse technician at a hospital. Anyway, at a hospital, and this was during COVID and everything. It was a time I did
yeah
that. I don't know how
nice
but my I had a roommate who had two dogs and they was shit and hate everywhere. And I would come home at 6 in the morning because those was 12-hour shifts, and
oh
I
yeah
have stepped
oh yikes no yikes
and I'm like traumatized and it's just kind of like and she
were
why
they big dogs or fairly small dogs
are the small dogs
like chihuahuas kind of thing or like
hugs?
corgis oh. My bad. I'm sorry. For all the pug lovers out
It
there,
was
I'm
a
so
cute
sorry.
pug, but I'm like, come on, man. Like, I don't want to step in that when I'm coming home from work. I don't want to smell that. And I'm like, this
I
isn't
feel
a
like, but there's I was looking at like historical dog breeds and like the way people have bred pugs, I think is inhumane. Like originally pugs were able to breathe very well, and then just through like inbreeding and trying to get them in like certain specific ways for dog shows like they flattened the snout to where now they might need surgery just to be able to breathe and stuff like that. So yeah, pugs I don't know, I feel a way about
okay.
just because of my own kind of personal philosophies. But there is another concept, like you had mentioned chips or like brain chips, I guess, in like apes or monkeys.
Neuralinks, right? That was something Elon.
Neuralinks. Yeah, yeah, in like apes or monkeys. And I read this article about Jane Goodall, RIP to her as well. She had passed, I think, last
Yeah.
month. And they were saying that apes, gorillas can understand, chimpanzees, I think too, can understand sign language. They can communicate with you very well in sign language. But the scariest part, at least it scares me, is that no matter how long, and this has like been, I forgot how many years we've been teaching apes to sign language, and it's been a while, but for however long we've been teaching apes to sign language, no ape has ever asked a single question. Like they've never asked, like they've right? They've never asked like, I don't know, like why do humans eat processed food and why do I eat?
Why?
Bro, that scares the hell out of me. I don't know why, but it's so.
Are they mimicking or are they actually understanding everything?
From my understanding, it's actually an understanding where, obviously, like they can understand. They know they can understand because
We're doomed.
the apes will be able to ask for things, right? Like someone could sign like, "What do you want to eat?" and an ape can say, "I don't know, like bamboo," or that's pandas. Never mind. Or like I don't know, some type of foliage, whatever apes eat. I don't know, gorillas, something. But they can say like what they want. So yeah, they are able to communicate. But there hasn't been a time where they've asked any existential or maybe like meaning of life philosophical questions. I don't know if that makes me sad or that makes me scared.
You know that movie where the apes they take Planet 8 or whatever they take control.
Top
I
five
can't
favorite movie.
I can't watch it. I can't do it.
What?
You see,
Have you seen the original? You got to see the original one. The
I saw the
original
first one, but then after that, I'm like, I saw like no, I refuse to watch those.
Wait, the first one, the old first one, or the one with like who was it?
The big actor, James
Mark Wahlberg, or was it someone else? Or there was a. So I think you're talking about the recent ones again.
No, I can't remember. The old ones, I think I saw one of them. They freak me out. I can't do
That's
it.
when they had like real costumes that they were making and people were wearing them. Like that's like OG.
I saw the one of the OGs. I saw one of the OG
Yes.
ones. And I saw one of the recent ones. No, I refuse. They should not be talking to me. I should not be. I know it's cool, but something about like I don't know.
Personally, I do. Okay, supposedly like gorillas, apes, whatever it may be, like our closest ancestors. Everybody has their opinions on that, but like, if that is true, it really does make me wonder. And again, I know we're at like an hour and 20, so we can end it here at any point. But I know like that makes me wonder, like, what is there a reason why they haven't asked any questions? Like, I wonder if you go to like a gorilla and you sign like, hey, this is ChatGPT. It's an AI kind of thing that we're using, blah, blah, blah. I wonder if you would even ask, like, what is AI? Or how can I use it? Or would it just start using it, period? Or would it just have no interest? It just worries me that maybe...
I can take over the world. Continue.
Maybe humans care more about their existence than the animals on this planet that we know of.
Yeah.
And maybe that's why we're like wanting to go to Mars or wanting to populate the solar system, blah, blah, blah. But it makes you wonder, like, why don't these animals care about their existence as much as humans do? I don't know.
We're the most dangerous creatures, right? That's what it is.
That is true. But even then, like, why isn't the gorilla cursing us out, I guess, of like some orangutan is not saying like, fuck you guys for tearing up my sister's habitat. I don't know. But, or why are you keeping me in this cage? I don't know. I would like to hear what apes have to say and what dolphins have to say, honestly.
Dolphins too. I agree. They're smart.
Yeah. But anyways, pet care was my last one. I don't know if there's any.
That was a good topic.
That was a good topic. I don't know if there's any ending comments you want to make or any motivational statements you want to make after.
I guess the one statement I want to make because I right now it's like it's a joy. There's a lot of joy going on. There's a lot of scare going on. It's such a big mix of emotions, everybody. And being in the world of AI, I know some people feel mixed about it and some people don't. Like it's okay, and it's human too. So I guess I would say it's just self belief, and you're gonna be okay. I think if there's something, I don't know what else to say, but it's a tough time for everybody,
Yeah.
and I think everybody's aware of it, and it's just annoying. But it's
Mm.
I just don't lose hope, I guess, with everything going on.
Don't lose hope. Yeah. I think that's better than I could have said it. I was gonna say something along the lines of make sure you don't lose hope, and force yourself to continue to learn.
Yeah,
Don't kind of, and I say force because, like you said earlier, you made me think of like how not everybody wants to even be in the whole AI mix, right? But maybe at this time it's becoming so important that you kind of have to,
yeah.
and you kind of may have to force yourself to deep dive as much as you can
Use it
into this
to
topic.
advance what you like to do.
Use it to advance, like you made the example of like the run club thing that I had.
Hmm.
And that was honestly because I only made that up because I wanted to get back at somebody. Like there was a run club that I absolutely hated, and I was like, somebody should review it. Like, and I was
That's
like,
enough.
yeah, it was completely spiteful. I'll be honest.
Oh, okay.
I
There you go.
am
Follow your
I
good and your bad passions. Some you'll learn more.
I have no shame in my game. I was like, somebody needs to start reviewing run clubs and
Would
telling
have
people
told
how
me. I would
good or
have given
bad
you
they.
that review.
Yeah. So yeah, like, but again, yeah, like use AI to kind of propel your interests and really get creative. Creativity is your biggest biggest, what's the word?
Skill?
Advancement?
Advancement?
Edge, competitive edge.
Edge.
Creativity is your biggest competitive edge out here. Make sure you cultivate it, make sure you use it, and get curious. And we can end it there.
Yeah. Well, see
Nice.
you guys next
It
time.
was a good conversation.
It was a conversation.
Awesome. All right. Bye, guys.
Bye.